it was like this old lady who was coming before the farmer's market even opened. And we were cooking it with like a campfire stove, and she ate a bite of it and then she bought two. So I brought my other friend, and like he looked at me and was like, Kiara, this is gonna work. And I was like, oh my God.
Chiara, hello. Thank you for being here today.
Hello.
We've been so excited for the release of this show and to get to talk to some of the contestants, learn about your experience. Just in your own words, would love to hear for the viewers and listeners a little description about yourself. Who are you? What's your business? And how did you end up on 60 Day Hustle?
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you. So I'm Kiara. I'm originally from Los Angeles. I'm 23 right now. I graduated college like a year ago, and my business is called Chichi. It's a chickpea breakfast company. So we make the first ever oatmeal made out of chickpeas instead of oats because it's higher protein, lower carb, even more delicious, I would say. And I started this company my senior year of college, and then I graduated. In the summer after I graduated college, casting director reached out, saw us on social media posting, and said you should come in for a audition and a callback. And that's how I ended up on the show. It was never in my life roadmap to be on a TV show, but it just happened.
Can you just give us a little history of how the heck you ended up building that business?
I've always been pretty entrepreneurial. Like I grew up watching Shark Tank and just wanting to make a business myself. This business kind of like surprised me in a way. I always was like really aggressively thinking about business ideas to make, but just this one kind of came out of a personal need for the product. What I was doing all throughout college and then especially over COVID, I was making this oatmeal every day for breakfast. I just became so obsessed with oatmeal, like a lot of people did. Especially during COVID, it was such a trend making really aesthetic looking oatmeal bowls on Instagram and stuff. So I was a part of that wave, obsessed with my oatmeal. But what was happening was like an hour after I ate my oatmeal, I would get hungry again, or the oatmeal had so much sugar, I would get like a sugar crash because, at least in the US, a lot of the oatmeals here, they're packed with a ton of sugar. And then I also realized that they lack protein, which is kind of what you need to start your day so that you're kind of full and energized and you can go about your day without being hungry. So I was like, okay, how can I make oatmeal with more protein in it? And then I just had this epiphany where why don't I replace the oat with a chickpea and make oatmeal made out of chickpeas? Because I love chickpeas for lunch and dinner, and I just didn't see them in breakfast. And I knew they had a lot of protein and fiber. So that's where the idea got started. I just started mushing up chickpeas myself and eating it. It wasn't even like a business idea at that point. It was just me in college, like eating chick until I realized like later when I started my senior year of college and I signed up for an entrepreneurship class, I was like, why don't I turn this into a business? This doesn't
Hmm,
exist.
very cool.
Yeah.
What was your initial reaction when you found out that you were going to be a contestant on 60 Day Hustle?
I have no experience with TV or anything, so I didn't even know how the process worked. But when I got the call or email or whatever happened that told me I would be a contestant, I was just super excited. There were so many unknowns, and like obviously this is the first season of the show, so I didn't have anything to kind of be like, what am I going to be doing for the next 60 days? But I was excited for a way to progress my business. I had just graduated college and I was like, this is like another college class. This is a great activity for me to grow my business and then also to kind of share Chi Chi with the world. So I was just excited, but also a little nervous because I had no idea what to expect.
So then, going in kind of a little blind to what the process is and stuff, how did you prepare for your pitch challenge? And what was your strategy for impressing this panel of industry titans?
I mean, every day I would just take it day by day and just say, I know my business inside and out, and I'm just gonna not overthink it and explain it to them. And that's kind of what I did. Like, I just had to keep reminding myself that, like, I know my business, just try as hard as you can. With the pitch, I wasn't that nervous about it because I just have given this pitch, and I just have been living and breathing Chi for the past 3 years. So a 60-second pitch, like, and I know it already.
How did you prepare for the marketing challenge with Forbes Riley? And like, what were your strategies around that and during selling an online event?
This one was the worst one for us. I thought it
You
was
can
an
hate it.
amazing learning. It was, in the end, we learned so much. And I think I'll reposition as like the marketing, the live sales challenge we did was just like a huge learning opportunity because we made so many mistakes going into it. We had never done any live event before, and they gave us the challenge, and Izzy and I just got too excited and overthought it so much. So we were given the assignment that we're supposed to do a 10-minute live sales challenge. That's the challenge. And we had this genius idea. I don't know if it was me or is my idea for the 10-minute sales challenge was to do a different segment every single minute of the 10 minutes and program in like a different thing every single minute, like on the dot, which ended up making it so that we were making like 10 different skits and different like segments, which is just logistically hard to plan. We created so much extra work for ourselves. And when we ended up actually doing the live selling challenge, all of our viewers were just so confused. They were like, what is this like circus of Chi Chi? We don't even know if we're supposed to buy it or just watch this, or we don't even know if they're selling product or if they're giving a discount or something, because we were giving like 5 discounts, 1 minute, one discount every minute. So they were just so confused. And then it got even worse where we accidentally marked our Shopify as out of stock. Halfway through, we accidentally only said we had like 50 bags of Chi Chi on our website. So people were trying to buy it and they couldn't even buy. In the end, we got through it, which is fine. But I think we just didn't do the one easiest thing, which is make sure your website's working.
Was there camaraderie among the contestants, or was it super competitive? Like, did you build have or even have the time to build relationships, or was it just like everyone's fighting each other?
No, there was time. We had a lot of, I mean, behind the scenes, there was a lot of like hurry up and waiting throughout, where all the contestants would be together in this little conference room. We would one just like wait in there and hang out and get ready to go on stage and get ready to do stuff. But that's also the room that we were waiting to be eliminated, basically, and waiting to get our feedback. But anyway, we spent hours in that room together, the whole cast, and we definitely got close and had a lot of time just talking and bonding over our shared stress and anxiety. All of us had pretty different businesses, so we weren't really directly competitive with each other because our businesses were just so different. All of us were at different life stages. I was one of the younger ones, there were older contestants. So because we were all so different, it wasn't super competitive. It was super like, and I still talk to so many of them today.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm curious a little bit about like it's a big thing building a food product. There's so many things that get in the way. So I'm curious about your journey from doing this in a dorm, smushing up chickpeas, to actually having a commercial kitchen where you're like producing the product. W- How did you know what that journey looks like, or was it just kind of piece by piece as you went?
No, I did not know anything. And I think it was, I could have never imagined how difficult it would be to like scale manufacturing and like make a food business because there were just so many things I didn't know. But I think that was kind of a strength. I feel like my lack of knowledge about the food space just helped me keep taking it to step by step. I feel like if I knew too much, like if I knew about the challenges I would face, I would have either not done it or I would have overthought it or tried to overplan it instead of just like growing 1% every day, and instead of like being like, I need to scale up my production and learn, figure out how to manufacture this product at scale before I even had like, before I even like tested it out, kind of. And I didn't do that because I think if I ended up saying like I need to figure out our supply chain before I even figured out if there was any customer demand, I would have failed. But it was so hard. We went from making it ourselves, and I remember like making it in my college oven, smushing up chickpeas and being so proud of myself. I was like, I made 10 bags. It took me all night. But I felt it to me at the time, it felt like I was doing this huge thing. And I was like, I am going to sell this for $100. All this inventory can be turned into $100. But I think that that's kind of the beauty of it. Like every step of the way, I thought I was doing something huge, even though I wasn't. And that's definitely how I'm going to hopefully think in 3 years. Hopefully I'm going to be like, oh, Chiara 2 years ago really thought she was like making this like really legit business, when in reality she still had like a baby business, which I do. Back to the question of how did I scale it, I used a lot of Googling, a lot of other food founders just to tell me the ins and outs of what is a co-packer. And a co-packer is somebody who manufactures your product for you. And then how do you make sure that you're food safe? Or what is a distributor? Or how do you price to distributors who then deliver to grocery stores? It's just unlimited things that you don't know, that you don't even know that you're supposed to know until somebody's like, what type of gusset size are on your stand-up pouches? And you're like, I don't know. And then you have to figure that out. So, and like to have, it's been like, it hasn't even been a year since we did our first like full production run. But in that entire year, we had 10,000 pounds of chickpeas turned into mush and we lost it all. We had like so many delays. We had to switch our co-packer a couple times. We've switched our package design 3 times. We switched our pack size. We switched our flavors. It feels like Chi has lived like 10 lives in this 1 year, just production wise.
But it sounds like knowing that people wanted it and liked it kept you going through all of those challenges.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely like at every stage of the way would be like, we used to sell it, we would hand make it and sell it at the farmers market, and like every single person who bought it and then would come back to the farmers market the next weekend and be like, I need more Chi-Chi, I need more Chi-Chi, because they loved it so much. As long as we have repeat customers, we need to keep going, because that's what Chi-Chi will be built off of, is repeat customers. And then after we expanded from the farmers market, when we got into grocery stores and we would set up at demo tables. I remember the first time I was doing a demo in a grocery store in St. Louis and somebody tasted it and then bought it. I was like, oh my God, it worked. Like, oh my God. Like, somebody tasted it and then they bought it in the store. And then our QR code just scanned at the cash register over there. It worked.
The whole
So,
thing's happening.
market, it was like this old lady who was coming before the farmers market even opened, and we were cooking it with like a campfire stove, and she ate a bite of it and then she bought two. So I brought my other friend, and like he looked at me and was like, Chiara, this is gonna work. And I was like, oh my God. But yeah, so I mean, it's just the customers tasting it and then buying it is like the only thing that makes this all worth it. And like if that stops, then like Chi-Chi stops.
Well, and with a product that is so close to you, coming from an actual need, having your name embedded in it, are you how are you navigating as you scale it, like maintaining that authenticity both in the product and the brand?
Yeah, that's been definitely like, we're still working through that. In the beginning, I was so closely tied to the product, and like if somebody didn't like the taste of it, I would get personally hurt. I would feel like they hate me. Like somebody be like, this tastes like, I remember somebody, this tastes, our first ever version, like the texture was a little weird. Somebody would be like, this tastes a little gritty, or this, they didn't like, we've have changed it since then. And I would just be like, this is the worst insult they could ever give to me. If they think there's too much cinnamon in Chi-Chi, that is I'm so personally offended. And that was my outlook for like a year, and it was horrible. But then I realized, like, one, food is so subjective and not everybody's going to like it. And not everybody likes every product. Like, not everybody, this is what I realized, like Oreo is such an amazing like they're like Oreo is a huge business, but there are so many people that don't buy Oreos for whatever reason. And that's totally fine. Like, not, or like olives, like not everybody likes olives, but olives are doing fine. Not everybody needs to love your product for it to be doing okay. This took me like a year to realize that not everybody needs to love Chi Chi as much as I do for Chi Chi to succeed. We just need like some people to really love it. So I had to take a step back and be like, if somebody doesn't like my product, it's not a personal attack on my own personality, which is what I thought for a while. Um, and going forward, our story is super important, and being a founder led brand is important to us. At the same time, we're trying to kind of be bigger than we are and also separate ourselves a little bit so that Chi Chi doesn't seem like a brand started by two girls in their early 20s, because we've learned our target customer is thinking about our packaging design right now, and our packaging design looks very kind of youthful and fun, and it has our picture on the back of it. But we realized our target customer might be a little older and they might not really resonate with this style of packaging, even though that packaging really speaks to Izzy and I and our own personalities. So we think that we probably need to mature a little and do that to connect better with our customers versus connect with us. So we are taking a step back and thinking, how do we scale this bigger than just being a cute little founder led brand?
I want to ask to what you just said, because I think in business school, in a lot of like business boot camps and all of this stuff, early on, you're always asked, like, who's your target audience? As if you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to already know. And I know it's an exercise to build a persona so you know who you're talking to, but it sounds like, which I think is a lot of people's experience, as you get your product out, you're learning that your target audience is something maybe different than you thought it was. How how do you like stay nimble in that process? It sounds like you have an open mind to it, but is that something you expect to continue to change?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why you just have to kind of go for it without overthinking too much, because you're not going to know the answer until you get feedback from the market. Like you yourself, like as an internal team, you can't just say, this is my target customer, this is why people are going to buy it, etc., without, like, you can have a hypothesis obviously, but we like to stay very open-minded about, this is our hypothesis, but let's see if this actually follows in real life. And that's why we just try to get as much feedback as possible on taste, on why people don't buy it, on what they like about it, on what they don't like about it, and kind of just, yeah, I mean, how do we stay nimble is just like, just always be listening, kind of, is how, like, just doing so many like customer surveys, and like even like, yeah, like we didn't know. In the beginning, we thought our target customer was like college students like me who was eating it. And yeah, like younger college students who really wanted the protein in it and wanted like single serve pouches. And then as we kind of progressed along, we realized, like, one, college students aren't really the ones buying it as much because it's a little pricey compared to oatmeal, and college students don't really have that much money to spend on like premium breakfast foods. And also, we didn't even realize this, but like a lot of our customers were buying Chi Chi because it's low glycemic. And I had no idea a lot of our customers buy Chi Chi. Like, the glycemic thing is like we have a lot of diabetics who buy Chi Chi because it doesn't spike your blood sugar. And also just people who don't want their blood sugar to be spiked, they buy it. They have an allergy to oats. And when I started Chi Chi, I had no clue that people even had an allergy to oats. Like, that's not why I made it. But now that's like, we have so many subscribers right now who are like, I'm allergic to oats. This is what I've been looking for my entire life. Like, this is amazing. And I'm like, I did not even know you existed until now. But now they're so important to us. So just so many things can change. Like, we have such a different kind of outlook on who our customer is now than we did like 2 years ago.
And then last question, just where can people find Chi Chi? Where do they follow you?
It's an amazing question. You can follow us on Instagram at Chickpea Oats, or you can buy Chi Chi on our website, at chickpeaoats.com, and we ship for free, super fast. Right now, you can't really buy us in stores, but hopefully soon you'll be able to buy us in stores. But online, you can find us.
Cool. Well, Chiara, thank you so much for talking to me and being open to just sharing all parts of the process. It's been a delight. For everyone listening and watching, go check out 60 Day Hustle, August 8th. Watch Chiara go through all the works of trying to grow a business in 60 days. Any last nugget of advice you can give to someone else who wants to do what you're doing but doesn't think they can?
Yeah, I think nobody knows what they're doing when they do anything. Everybody's just faking it until they make it. And you should just do the same because you only live once. That's
Love it.
like, that is, yeah, that's my advice. Like, that's honestly what I tell myself every morning is like, nobody knows what they're doing. You just have to do it.
I love it. Well, once again, Chiara, thank you. Can't wait to try Chi Chi and try and spread it across the Midwest. Have a wonderful day.